Losers bracket. So Group B continues. Dragonshire here in the Murky Cup with the bounty system, and now we have Khaldor against DDX. This is a little bit of a highlight, honestly. This could be an absolute banger, and I am very curious if we're going to see bounties. Both of the teams have been a little bit shy of dipping into the bounty pool. We had finally the Azmodan bounty completed by DDX in the previous series, though, so good for them. But now another best of 3. We are starting with Dragonshire, as mentioned. As far as rules go in the tournament, we have a rule that a hero can only be played once within a series. So if a hero gets played in game number 1, you can't play it again for the rest of the best of 3. Same true, obviously, for every consecutive map. And we have the bounty system. Once again, I'll put the bounties on screen real quickly. I think by now most people are familiar with the bounty system in general. Again, we pushed in or put in 1,000 euros as the prize money for the tournament. It's normal prize money for the tournament, but there is a second prize pool for the tournament that is crowdfunded. The link, you can find it in the description if you want to contribute to this. Sometimes people are asking, especially in YouTube, if they could contribute to prize pools. So if you want to do that, you can do that there. Link in the description. Also the link, by the way, to this sheet if you want to have a look at the bounties that are available. But basically what happens is with that second prize pool, that bounty pool, teams can dip into that by completing the bounties that you can see here. Each team can complete all of these bounties once, and if you attempt a bounty and you complete it, you get a point. If you attempt a bounty and you fail, you get half a point. And at the end of the tournament, we're looking at all of the bounties, the number of the bounties that have been completed, and then teams get a share of the bounty prize pool in relation to how many bounties they themselves were able to fulfill. So just as a bit of an idea, there's basically a couple of things that we're trying to do with this. We're trying to incentivize teams to play heroes that are a little bit more out of the box. All of these things are, of course, handicaps at the end of the day that you have to think about. Is it worth it for us to go for that risk reward and play something that is definitely worse than the alternatives? Or do we think we can't get away with it? Now, the important part is that A, we want to see, occasionally at least, a couple of heroes that are a bit more out of the box and teams risking something. But at the same time, we don't really want to force them into it. There's a monetary incentive, but you're not forced to do any of that. And the second thing is that for teams that are, for example, not always ending up in the top 3 and usually don't get a lot of prize money when they're participating in tournaments, we wanted to put something in that at least allows them, you know, to get some pizza money for themselves. So you can actually get a pretty fair share of that second prize pool if you consistently try to go for bounties. You win a couple of the maps, and even now for games where you lose, you get half a point. This is actually new. We used the bounty system in the past already a few times in tournaments, and it was always kind of fun. But this is the first one where we give a team also half a point when they lose a bounty. Now, again, you can't just use the same bounty over and over again and kind of farm this. First of all, if you lose a bounty, it means that you're losing the game. So if your strategy is to just lose bounties, then you'll very quickly find yourself out of the tournament. And since the hero can only be played once within a series, you can also attempt the bounty essentially only once per match. But yeah, we wanted to give teams more of an incentive to try stuff, and if they fail, they get at least something out of it. We'll see how it works. So far the feedback was good. Maybe in the future we're going to reduce it to 1/3 of a point or even more. Like, I'm not quite sure yet, but we wanted to give that a shot and see how the teams adapt to it and how it also impacts what's happening in the games themselves. So we'll see. Now that we're going to game number 1, we have so far no bounty attempt locked in. Sometimes teams are just playing the first map out with complete meta comps, and then maybe on the second map when they're in the lead, they will try something. But yeah, time will tell. For now, we got ETC and Blaze on the side of the red team. For the front line, Murden and Lorik get played by their opponents. So the Polish team, Khaldor right now, with Leorki on that top lane. And yeah, what exactly are we going to go for the final 2 picks? Are we going to get a bounty? Now would be the moment to unlock it. Falstad and Anduin. Alright, so no bounty in game number 1 for Khaldor. I don't really expect EDX to go for one either. They have been very stingy with bounties. They tried Azmodan twice. Once they failed it, and in another series later on they were able to complete it on Tomb of Spider Queen. Are they really willing to give themselves a handicap for the first game in the loser bracket series? And the answer is no. They go for Tracer. Double Overwatch for them on the damage. So with that, we're heading into game number 1. Dragonshire DDX against Khaldor. Game number 1, Khaldor on the left in blue with Mark Hotzel on Mirrodin. We get Ether on Leoric. Balor on Anduin, Bronek on Falstad, and Cesabos on Sylvanas. I gotta say, every single time that I see Falstad here and Bronek is like the manliest nickname that we have in the entire lineup. Just my personal thoughts. DDX on the right side with Shizakit on ETC. We got Yoshiro on Junkrat, Danozovsky on Brightwing, Dead Inside on Tracer, and Virgil with Blaze. One of the few times where I've seen Virgil actually go for an actual full-on meta hero and not go for some side lane shenanigans here. But no bounties for now. Oh, there's the slide. Sylvanas in the corner. Brightwing with a poly. They want the kill. They want it quickly. And Cesabos Laubas. 25 seconds into the game and he's gone. And the same is true for Anduin. And they're not even stopping there. They're trying to go for another kill against Ether. But Leoric is able to move away. The janitor does not fall. You don't kill the janitor. At least not that early in the game. Good start. Very nice start indeed for DDX. So with 2 kills to 0, you're also getting a little bit more aggressive. Using Trace at the top lane for some added damage on the rotation. But yeah, this is exactly how you want this to start up. I mean, the the Sylvanas combo is usually trying to get some structural damage in. So you're essentially trying to pick a lane where you come in with Sylvanas and you do a bit of damage. Normally you want to make sure that you move out as soon as your opponent starts rotating in so you don't get flanked and killed. But it's always that little gamble play where the opponent has to try and guess where you will hit with Sylvanas. In this case, they went for the middle. Red team reacted very quickly, and then it ends up with a double kill. So, good lead for DDX. Have a small advantage here. Early game kills are not all that important. It's one of the funniest things, by the way, when you have, for example, I mean, always people complain in any kind of public game when initially a hero to die. It's annoying, it's a bit of a setback, it gives your opponent some control, but given the death timers and how low they are early on in the game, it's usually very low impact. So right now there's a tiny leading experience for DDX, but nothing crazy. While the blue team has double control on the shrines, we also have, in addition to that, them going for a camp. Red team is a little bit torn on what they should do here in regards to their play. They were looking to potentially invade the camp clear here, but they also have to make sure that nobody sneaks into the middle and gets the Dragonite. So now the camp is indeed taken. There's a fight happening up at the top where Leorki might die, but nope, he gets away. So they're going for Muradin in the middle. Double control now for the red team, and they want the Dragonite. They might be able to take it. Muradin is low. Can they hold the top long enough? And I think the answer is yes. Yep, ETC might die for it, but worth it. And is he gonna get out? He is able to get away. Nicely done. He was willing to sacrifice himself for the first objective. And they grabbed it. And they're also gonna get a kill here. They're going for Leoric, and they take him down. Shizakid, of course, himself also slowly backing off here. But the Dragonite is getting value at the bottom of the map for the team. So, looking great. There's a bit of a punt against against Falstad, as Brightwing is apparently... This is by the... Now you're a real dragon. Look at the fruit fly. Finally a real dragon. So now Brightwing knows what it feels like to be an actual dragon and doesn't have to pretend anymore. Same when Chromie is able to get a pick. So yeah, this is what it feels like. Majestic dragon with a battle axe as well. So yeah, totally new feeling for Vibe. Leorki goes down again at the top lane, so that's 4 kills to 0 now. Not too bad. And down at the bottom of the map, Bronek, Kotzel, all looking fine here. And this is going to be a little bit of damage at the wall, but the rotation is here. The Nexus Mosquito is there. Brightwing. Yeah, Brightwing is also annoying and buzzing around people. But I was actually talking about Tracer. So she comes in. And yeah, it's that sound that we all absolutely hate. But with that slide, they take Falstad out. And DDX is putting on a clinic. Guys, that is 5 kills to 0. First objective taken. Leading experience. Go for the camp at the bottom. The only saving grace is really Sylvanas moves like the one that we see from Cesabos at the top lane now, that allow them to get damage in on the structures. But when it comes to actual team fights and how they play out, the blue team is getting schooled here. So, yeah. Down at the bottom of the map. Next push is coming, and they're taking this out. I mean, at this point, ROLLERCOASTER is just attending DDX University. They're being taught how to play the game from the looks of it. Game number 1, at least in the early stage, is not going well for the Polish team. Now, that can always change. Once level 10 abilities kick in, things are oftentimes, of course, changing in regards to the game dynamic. And with 5 minutes on the board, this is where we're going to be slowly headed. But next set of shrines is activating in a few more seconds, and we're level 10 ready for DDX early on. You know, they might actually be able to get themselves a second Dragon Knight. Time will tell. Definitely not there yet, but we'll see. They might be able to make a move on this. Now, down at the bottom of the map, the level 10 now fully available. We get, for example, stage dive, so there is a global available now also for DDX, or at least a pseudo-global. And, yeah, ETC holds the shrine for now, trying to reclaim it so that nobody steals the Dragon Knight in the middle of the map. Sylvanas was in position, but there was also Blaze ready to guard the spot. Now, blue team has bought themselves enough time to get their own heroic abilities so that they can actually fight for the Dragon Knight. Not play around this or anything. But, well, with this, another jump is coming in. 10 is ready, and Muradin, obviously with level 10, also has now the quest completed. Similar to Stitches completing his level 13 baseline. But, yeah, with them just punting around here, blue team is trying to reclaim the position at the bottom of the map. At the top side, we have already Blaze trying to take over. Sylvanas is attempting to buy a bit of time as Falset flies in, but it's... No, they get it! It wasn't enough. Sylvanas is likely gonna fall. Okay, Cesabor sacrificed his life for the greater good, and they got the very quick Dragon Knight here. So each team has now one. So, yeah, off we go. That helps them to take the wall out. Anduin is eliminated as well, and that's 2 kills, but at least they got the decay. And Falstad is just breaking through that wall, trying to take that fort out. 6-7 minutes in, this bad boy hoits a little bit more, but the red team is at least defending properly. They're also getting some nice value out of their bot lane push, but here in the middle the fort is destroyed. So, nicely done. Couple of really nice moves. I mean, Sylvanas really is just staying at the top shrine for as long as she possibly can, with Falset flying into the middle and stealing it. And I honestly expected the Dragon Knight to have less of an impact than it actually has, but Ronick, not only was he able to get the objective, but he also got the fort. So that was, at the end of the day, still worth it. They sacrificed 2 heroes for it at the end of the day. But, yeah, not too shabby. Nicely done. Still not a single kill for them, on the other hand. Birdie now trying to deal down at the bottom of the map with the lane, but it doesn't change the fact that the blue team, it was a cool move. It was nicely done. They played a cool little move to make sure that they get an objective and get a fort destroyed, so they are structurally ahead now. It doesn't change the fact that the team fights have to change. They need to get kills. You can't just continue like this, because death timers are now increasing. And the more the death timers increase, the more control your opponent gets over the macro game every single time that they're taking a hero out. So this is starting to get dangerous. ETC is already jumping in. They are attempting to force... Yeah, well, not with a slide like this. They were trying to force something at the bottom of the map. Couldn't really. They still have a 1 level advantage and 8 kills to 0 after they took out the Leoric at the top. So, yeah, down at the bot lane, ETC, and seems like Junkrat are going to go for the camp. It's slowed down a little bit. I mean, the game has actually slowed down just slightly. We still have these macro attempts by Cesabos as he hoping to go on a lane and use Sylvanas to take one additional fort out. They already have the structural advantage, but these are exactly the plays that are needed from the red team to shut that down. 6 hit points, and then finally with the last hit, Sylvanas falls, and that is kill number 9. For the red team. So, nicely done. I mean, at this point, they are hoping, of course, for a little bit more, but this is now the numbers advantage on the map that I talked about earlier, with the death timers rising. It's another 15 seconds until Sylvanas is back. Yeah, Muradin also in trouble, gets saved by Anduin for just a moment, but Falstad is low, Muradin is low, Gust has to be used here too, and with the camp now pressuring and Siege Giants being lined up at the bot lane too, they could do some work here. And of course, in addition to that, DDX can also make a play for the objective again and try and get themselves another Dragon Knight. 16 is also just around the corner for them. The damage output with 30,000 for Tracer, 27,000 for Leoric. Nice! That was a great Wailing Arrow from Sylvanas. They cannot follow up with a kill though. We're 10 minutes into the game and they still haven't gotten a kill. They're trailing by 1 level the entire time. It's absolutely still winnable, but they need to get kills and win some team fights. Light Bomb engage, and we're in trouble. Maybe they can take ETC down now, and the answer is nope, they can't. Instead, they're losing everything. They're losing everything that they were holding down the bottom of the map. Honestly, DDX came in and they stole everything from them. They took all of them out with the exception of screw it, Leorki is dead too. It's a full 5-man team wipe. 14 kills to 0. Rospierdol is getting schooled. DDX is going through them like hot butter through cheese, crushing everything that they can find. And this teamfight victory at the bottom of the map was an absolute disaster for the blue team. They're losing the first 4, they're losing part of the wall at the bottom. The Dragon Knight obviously has been taken as well, and they're just lining up to get more damage done on structures all over the place. Level 16 talents gave them an advantage here. Now they go for Leorki again. We're looking at 15 kills in total. The port is gone. Brightwing is finally feeling like a real dragon again, and they can rotate down to the bottom of the map to try and maybe even damage the keep here as Sylvanas finds herself isolated and is gonna die. It's a matter of time. Jumps on the wave, gets exploded, the ragdoll gets kicked all over the place. And now with only 3 defenders, DDX is on their way to take down the keep at the bottom of the map. I mean, the keep is going to fall 100%. It's level 16 finally for Rospierdol, so the Anduin has the double pull now, turns into the pull-out king with his trade getting a second charge. And we have more survivability on Muradin 2 with Stoneform, but they should be able to take that keep out. And honestly, from the looks of it, they might not. Okay, ETC jumps in again. Gust is used. Tracer retreats. They try and go for ETC, but Muradin gets targeted and barely makes it out as Tracer is just zipping in and out. But they haven't taken the keep out yet. They can still siege up on this a little bit, but now it's a 5 versus 5, and they're not really willing to engage into this. With 50,000 damage, Tracer is the top damage dealer in the game. If they can get Junkrat in position to unleash a couple of grenades, maybe they can do enough damage here to get the keep after all. But thus far, at least, yeah, Rospierdol is still holding on to it. Level 19 versus level 16. That's what we're looking at right now. Jet Propulsion connect, and Leorki is dead. That's kill number 6 against Leoric. Sylvanas has died 5 times. Here comes the Riptire, zoning them away from the keep that gets now attacked by a catapult, and this is going to put the final touch on it. So, yep, keep at the bot lane is gone, which essentially means that with another Dragon Knight, you have a very good shot at ending the game. Game number 1 in the best of 3 series here in the losers bracket. Ooh, half a level until 20, and it's insane to me that we have literally 17 kills to 0. Not a single kill for Rospierdol. Good move by Sylvanas to at least get the board at the top. She still has to make sure that she gets out of this. Falset might have to gust, and yeah, I agree, Sylvanas isn't worth the cooldown. So yeah. But no gust. Sylvanas is dead. That's kill number 18. It's just bananas. The entire map belongs to DDX. They took everything from them. Their self-respect, their girlfriends, their pocket money. I mean, whatever it is, you name it, they stole it. DDX is in full control here. Rospierdol, they need an absolute insane team fight in order to turn this one around. Entomb in an attempt to block them from flanking in, but Leorki is gonna die again. The Dragon Knight can be... honestly, DDX doesn't even know what to go for first. Do we go for the core? Do we go for the keep? Do we go for the objective? Do we go for the kill? I mean, the world is their oyster at this point. They make this look like a quick match right now. Falstad is screwing with them a little bit by flying to the top and denying them a Dragon Knight, trying to buy some time, but let's not forget that they have to actually bridge 2 levels before they get somewhere here. Jet Propulsion gets dodged. And the blue team is still roaming around, trying to buy themselves a little bit of time, a little space. but the control is there, and they're moving into the middle. They're willing to fight here. They realize that they have to do something. So now everything centers around the middle of the map. But yeah, this is kind of nasty. At this point, hits against the right wing. Yep, they got them isolated on the right side. Maybe finally, there's the kill. Right wing is gone. They got a kill. Applause. Congratulations. So they got a point on the board finally. It took a long time. It took 15 minutes, but they have a kill finally. Still going up against level 20, but now Forset flies to the top and reclaims the shrine, so they're denying the Dragonite again. Yeah, they're working on the comeback. 6.5 out of 10, baby. Double catapult on the core. Forset can deal with this. That's not that late in the game yet either. But then again, Tracer and... Tracer! The mop to the face as Ether gets the kill. Kill number 2. They're on a spree, guys. Look at this. They're locking kills in. They're locking experience in. They nearly have level 20. They get a 3rd kill. Look at that. This is getting insane. 3 kills. Okay, and all of a sudden, they're knocking on level 20. Yep, there it is. Storm Talons for both teams. It's going to be an insane comeback. Just wait for it. Massive 6.5 out of 10 moment for the blue team. And they get a Dragonite. It was all a ruse. They baited them into a false sense of security, and now they're going for the big plays right there. It was all intentional. Lose it until you win it. And, well, how much can they do? They're gonna get the fort. This is the final fort, by the way, for DDX. This one is gonna fall. No denying that. But let's see what else they can pull off here. Tracer is about to be back. Blaze gone for another 10 seconds. Leoki with 42,000 damage. Falser with 31,000. Sylvanas, again, more of a lane tool than anything else throughout the game. But the red team is now in a bit of an awkward spot here. They were like, we got this. Easy. Easy, boys. No problem. And now all of a sudden, things are not looking so certain anymore. Leoki is about to lose the Dragonite. They have their keep down to 50% of its HP. But now the game is a bit more stable. This is, by the way, also a bit crazy. Look at the amount of kills. 3 to 19, and now look at the amount of hero experience. This is the advantage when you kill late game heroes compared to when you kill early game heroes. 5,000 to 12,000. Still a massive difference, but imagine for just a second. I mean, just the difference in kills is the same. So yeah, it doesn't really get mirrored in the hero XP here that we get from them. Mercenary experience, on the other hand, massively in the hands of DDX. I mean, they've been controlling the map for a long, long time. The one thing that's, yeah, well, actually doesn't surprise me that much, but they got the early forward, so yeah, passive experience is obviously elite for DDX. Not that crazy. But right now you still need to get some kills here. It's even talents. And you can already tell on how the teams are positioning and posturing on the map how the situation has changed. DDX is afraid of losing. DDX is actually afraid of losing a little bit right now. They're sitting here and they're like, yeah, well, this is getting a little bit tricky. So there's the keep, again, getting attacked. They're trying to push them out. Mithril Maze completed, and the keep is gonna fall. They can try to force the fight here, I guess. But there's also still the aura from the camp, and they have to take this out too. So, yeah, this is gonna get... I mean, this is gonna get interesting now, because technically... technically, blue team is ahead. They might be behind in experience by a little bit, they might be behind in kills, but they still have a fort at the top. So, when we're talking about the actual situation on the map, blue team is currently in the lead. As the clock continues to tick, catapults become stronger, top lane is going to have more of an impact. There's still a fountain that they have at the top lane to go for the shrine fight. So, right now, at this moment in time, the blue team is ahead. Now, if previous fights are any indication, then the team fight potential is still massive for DDX. But still, this game can flip with one single objective. Whoever takes the next Dragonite has a very good shot at winning the game. And Leo again trying to Use the Entomb here, is buried alive. Bunker, light bomb, all used already. They go for Muradin, and Anduin saves the day once more. Lots of damage also from Junkrat as he's trying to just use a couple of grenades over the brush here. ETC jumps in, could get the slide. Wind Tunnel is used immediately as a disengage tool from Bronek, keeping everybody alive and safe. But again, the fort makes a huge difference. They still have the fort here. They have the fountain that they can use. And they have the little safety zone that it brings them. So, yeah, not tricky. By now, yeah, Virgil over here. Muradin is getting pushed back. A lot of cooldowns, obviously, on the ults now. Sylvanas also just jumping out the entire time. Leo is going to retake up at the top, and the red team is now busy claiming the bottom shrine. So it's a bit of a ring around the rosy play from them. They invade some of the camps too. And Riptire's back up. Went also for the extra oomph, by the way. So cooldown reduction can be pretty impactful in the team fights, especially considering how we have seen the blue team cluster up sometimes on the front. But there is... Oh, okay. Sylvanas isn't here. Entomb gets used. Sylvanas isn't here. Riptire already hits, and it hits hard. Cooldown reduction is going strong. And Sylvanas has to now move back down to the bottom of the map. When the fight actually started out, she was on her way to take the minion waves out here. And then was aiming for the middle to join, but yeah, retreated. And now the chance to go for the objective. Down here, the attack against Muradin. ETC jumps in, creates some space, plays it slow, slides back out. Brightwing has taken the top shrine, they're taking the one at the bottom. Now they have control. Brightwing, if moving into the middle, they could maybe try and take the Dragonite there. Brightwing is already on the move. Falstad is likely going to try and interrupt this as they're still holding the point here. Brightwing on the move. Falstad flies up. He's too late. He's too late. The Dragonite is taken. They didn't go for the interrupt. They tried to go for the DK instead. Sorry, they tried to go for the top instead for the DK. Now they lose Leorki again, and this could be game. They lose one of their heroes. It's a 5 versus 4, and we have a Dragonite. Right there. The Gust again used. DK slowly on the way down to the bottom. Already taking some damage though. And Leorki wants to be back for the defense. He's sitting at 30 seconds right now, connecting the drains. That's the moment right there. Falstad was flying to the top, probably didn't see Brightwing in time and was already in flight and couldn't interrupt. Now they go for the core. The Dragonite gets melted down pretty quickly, and Leorki is back. Leoric is actually back. They might not be able to end here. Dragonite is hitting hard, but it's also about to fall. They're still all looking for kills here. The core is down to 60%, but can they finish it off? 50%. Anduin is gone. This should be game. This should be the end of game number 1. Sylvanas eliminated. And here it is. DDX with a delayed victory, but a victory nonetheless. 23 kills to 3 as they win game number 1. Before we're heading into game number 2, I'm going to be honest, guys, I really suck when it comes to asking people with these sponsor videos for a favor here. Every time I have to take a video like this, it takes me at least 10 different recordings until I have it. So, just to be completely real, it would absolutely help if you guys could download Opera GX. The link is in the description. We have a sponsorship for a month, and if you download and install the browser, play around with it, see if it's maybe for you, that would really help the channel. It would help us to host more tournaments in the future, and I would really appreciate it. So, that's basically it. Would be pretty awesome if you could do it. Again, only takes a couple of minutes of your time. You can watch the video, for example, directly in the new browser. Maybe you can watch a Twitch stream there. Would be absolutely awesome. So thanks in advance, and thanks for supporting the channel, everyone. Gun of Terror, Rospedol against DDX, and it took a little bit more towards the end and was certainly closer than I expected, but DDX with the victory on the first map, so they're now in the lead in the best of 3 series here in the losers bracket. We're going to Garden of Terror. The 10 heroes that were played on the previous map are now eliminated, so they can't be played again. So they have to change their compositions, their team compositions a little bit. The interesting question, of course, now is if DDX is willing to commit to a bounty now that they are in the lead. Now, I'm going to be absolutely blunt with you. I have my doubts. At this point, I'm just looking at the way that both of the teams have been playing their matches so far. And I think there is a very good chance that they're again just going for meta compositions, because this was a lot more hard-fought towards the end than it seemed like initially. Let's be honest here. Rospidol got their butt kicked at the beginning of the series. I mean, holy hell. They lost heroes all over the place. And then, just towards the end, you win that one team fight, you get 3 kills, you get a chunk of experience, you make it to level 20, and all of a sudden, it all opens up again. So, they were close to grab themselves a victory, but DDX still pulled through eventually. But considering how tense this was towards the end of the game, are they really going to be willing to give themselves a handicap for map 2? I mean, you can always make the argument that it's going to happen and that they're just saying, alright, if we lose here, then it doesn't matter too much, we can still win on the third map. But we'll see. Chromie has a first pick. So we have also and there's D.Va. Now, again, as I already highlighted in other series, D.Va is actually a Virgil special. So normally this would be a bit of a meme pick, but they've been picking D.Va a lot. Virgil has actually had D.Va banned against him too. And his D.Va is solid. I really think that his D.Va is probably one of his best heroes here, and the impact that he had in all of the games where he played the hero was pretty huge. So definitely one of those preference picks for the red team. They're also playing quite nicely around her. So for him, awesome pick on a big map. Still curious to see what Rospidol is going to pull off. I mean, it's a big map again. Vikings have been banned for that reason. We have a few globals that were already played in the previous game, so we won't see them here. But Hogger, for example, as a side laner would have still been an option, hasn't really been prioritized. The Haka banned, so you don't have a global on that account either. With Garrosh and now also Malfurion, we have a nice front line that can also get a quick flip into the roots. For Chromie to just like fire away and target that hard. But I would still expect that somebody considers Hogger for the side lane. I mean, this is a map where you have tons and tons. Well, okay, not anymore. Forget about it. Hogger got banned a bit later than I expected him to be banned or addressed, but he gets banned regardless. Medivh also. I like how many Medivh games we had. Medivh is a little bit of a seasonal one these days, but we have him played a lot more now in this tournament than we had in previous ones. And I kind of like it. There were a lot of really cool games that were played with Medivh where yeah, he just empowered the team continuously. And I'm trying to think about it, but what is the win rate of Medivh actually in Group A and B combined? Has Medivh lost? Honestly, on the top of my head, I'm not sure. He might have lost the Towers of Doom game. But I don't know what the win rate is, but it just, every time he was played, it just seemed like crazy. But I think he lost at least once on Towers of Doom. Now, anyways, either way, be it as it may, Medivh, super strong, can empower a lot, gets banned fairly regularly right now, but we've seen him play multiple times. Jojo and Rhaegar. Rhaegar with the lightning shield can always help you a little bit more. We currently have Gul'dan and Rexa. So Team Orc over here. Yeah, they're going full smoke on this one. I like it. Gul'dan for added wave clear, and that leaves us with a final pick. No bounty, by the way, for Rospidol. I don't necessarily expect one for DDX either, but if one of the two teams tries one, it's going to be them. They go for the Shimadas on the other hand. So now we're heading into game number 2, Garden of Terror, the second map between DDX and Rospidol. Game number 2, on the left in blue, we have Rospidol, Markotzel currently. On Garrosh, we got Ether on Rexa, Bronek on Chromie, Cesabos with Gul'dan, and Balor on Malfurion. Over on the right side of the map, DDX with Shizakid on Johanna. We get Yoshiro on Hanzo, Dead Inside on Genji, Danazovsky on Rhaegar. And Virgil is playing his D.Va again, going for full metal on level 1. So, 2-0 victory or 3-mapper. What are we getting? Well, first of all, we're getting a little bit of a battle in the middle. Nothing crazy though, because again, red team has not shown up with their full force. And I like the turtle, by the way. Turtle is also kind of a fun mount with Malfurion here. So that's not too bad. So yeah, I definitely like this. Anyways, D.Va is already sitting up at the top when it comes to talent choices. We got the target practice again for Hanzo on level 1. Gul'dan with the Ruinous Affliction on level 16. For now, the Echoed Corruption, so he's going to go for the late game synergy. And we have Johanna with Laws of Hope. little bit more self-sustain on her end, especially of course if she can pick up a lot of regeneration globes as the game continues. We have for Chromie, as usual, on level 1, the Time Walker's Pursuit that she grabs here. And a bit of aggression in the middle of the map against Khaldor already, and honestly, this is going to be a kill. Genji zips in, zips out, gets the cooldown reduction, and is out of here. So Gul'dan goes down, just missed the Lauber play, so after the 1 minute mark has passed. But that's a nice first blood, and essentially the second map starts more or less the same way the first one has. So, yeah, nicely done. Down at the bottom of the map, still Jojo rocking around. Ah, okay. I was looking at that inside, I was like, what the hell is he doing? Did he disconnect? And then I noticed, alright, the camp over here. He's trying to time the camp. But yeah, at first, I didn't realize that the camp was already taken. And I was like, what is happening here? And yeah, zips in, takes it before Garrosh can claim it. That was kind of funny. I was like, why is Genji just sitting there at the side? Did he disconnect? Are we going to have a pause in the moment? And no, so they're getting all of the camps roughly around the same time to try and pressure this. But yeah, that threw me for a loop, not gonna lie. Now, down at the bottom of the map, we currently have, well, still a little bit of damage being done here as D.Va is trying to defend against the mercenary camp. But the push at the top also plays out for the blue team. So they are still trying to defend. Another Siege Giant camp can also soon be claimed, but for now it's about the defense on this one. And they have 3 heroes up, only 2 to defend, so they're gonna get some damage on that wall. Actually a significant amount. One more push like this and you break the entire wall down. First seed is up, but again, we're not seeing any immediate moves for that. Seems like they're absolutely happy to display this a little bit. Pressure play in the middle to take a couple of these waves out. I mean, essentially we're having a few 3 and 4 mans rotating, looking for potential kills. Hasn't quite happened yet. Danazovsky for a second in trouble as he gets attacked. Still fine for now though. And, well, while they're always poking and looking for kills, trying to roam the map and hope to gank up on an unwinning opponent, they are also continuing with the stacking process. That's particularly true for Johanna, who's now at 11 stacks already. So that gives her 5% additional heal. And that's in total 25% right now. So that max heal is pretty neat, considering that only 3 minutes in, it's not too bad. Yeah, explosion value, at least a little bit. There were actually some really fun games where D.Va was played by Virgil on Infernal Shrines, where he gets a double kill with the explosion. So we had so many awesome games in the tournament, it was a bit ridiculous. But Virgil with his D.Va is definitely a force to be reckoned with. I mean, especially when they're playing it with Garrosh and throw the explosion at people, that is kind of cool. So right now at the bottom of the map, we're having Bronick still firing away against Jojo. Also went, by the way, into the Bronze Talons over here. So we have him with Time Troubles on level 4, and then Bronze Talons as his level 7 choice. And he's also in trouble now, because that is likely going to be a kill. Chromie goes down, and, well, that is kill number 2 for DDX. Yep, at the top, still the 1v1. Misha helping out, and there's also Siege Giants that need to be accounted for. With them still poking against Cesabos at the bottom of the map. Chromie now with Temporal Loop. And talking about Cesabos, he's at 20 stacks for his Ruinous... I keep calling it Ruinous Affliction, always in anticipation of the level 16 talent, obviously. But what we're seeing here is, of course, the Echoed Corruption. And, yeah, Cesabos still fine. Rexa also eliminated topside now. Again, they're picking up the kills all over the place. With Genji at the bottom of the map, pressuring Gul'dan again. They're hoping to take Dead Inside out, but he's able to escape too. It's 3 kills to 0. The lead in experience might not be too crazy, but it again is the same pattern that we already had in game number 1. So at least early on, Ross Piedol is struggling. Clearly. Seed versus Seed. Top right has been taken. They're still going for the mercenary camps pretty easily. And Jojo is now on 18 stacks on her level 1. She's gonna get another one here. So 2 more globes and she's gonna be on 30% heal with her Laws of Hope. It's a really nice talent to have. I mean, I've seen one of the players use it on Tomb of the Spider Queen and just have continuous rotations there. I think the bounty that we have for Stitches and Alexstrasza could technically also be used to have Jojo on Alexstrasza and just stack that level 1 talent up as much as you can. It's not really as nice when you have Regeneration Master or something, but I feel like with Laws of Hope and an insane sustain that she gets that would be kind of sweet as well. Level 10 kicks in, insta-fight, and Gul'dan is gone. Gul'dan's gone, despite Malfurion popping Tranquility. There's the Ancestral Healing. Nice. Dead Inside is totally fine. They're trying to go for some resets, but he's not able to take Nisha out and get the cooldown. But they are still able to take the camp away from the opponent. It's a 5 versus 4 after all. So after Gul'dan died, it would have been suicidal of Rospedol to try and take this back. The seed will also be claimed, and there's even some pressure against Aether in the middle, as Rexa is now getting pushed back. So 4 kills to 0, second seed in their hands. It's not too bad. That's a great start again for DDX. They missed out a bit on the first map to really capitalize properly on the advantages that they had. I mean, they still got to keep, but at times they could have probably pushed this a little bit further. It's always a bit weird because, again, you are walking a bit of a tightrope. You don't want to get too aggressive. And now there's a kill for Rospedol. They get a double. That was actually nicely done. So they lock them into a corner and then they take Johanna down first. And that was perfectly lined up for Chromie and her damage in particular, as you can see here. So first the flip, then the block. Garrosh is the one that initiates the entire chain of events. And there's just no chance for Johanna to get out. And Rhaegar, he couldn't make it either. So they get the kill. But at the top, they are able to take Raxa out. And the explosion takes out the minion wave. So now they can go for that fort. The bottom fort has been destroyed too. So Rospedol gets a fort at the bot lane. Garrosh now attempting to defend the top. But that is still a lot of damage that has been done here. But still, the more important part is that at least Rospedol is fighting back properly. So we have them with 2 kills on the board. They got the fort at the bottom of the map, and that already makes all of this look way better than what they experienced on the previous one. This seed should be taken easily by Malfurion and his boys if they grab it. So that's 2 seeds on each side, which means that the next one will spawn Garden Terrors for one of the teams. We have level 13 advantage by half a level for DDX. The attempt, already sneaking past here with D.Va. From the looks of it, want to get the Siege Giants first, but they might be also able to get a bit of an attack going. Camp is taken, nice, and they're just rotating. I would not have been surprised if they actually tried to take the fight. They have a level 13 advantage. As long as they don't get baited into the fort, you're fine. But, of course, as mentioned before, it's now about the next seed. And the position here is pretty good for DDX. Way more over towards their side. So this is something that they should honestly be able to grab, or at least they have a fountain close by in the middle that they can use. But the blue team is already starting to go and try and defend this. Now, Siege Giants are still about to be taken. Top side is escorted in. They are hoping to apply pressure to the fort. And they can buy a little bit of time at the bot right, but Genji needs to rotate. Of course you want that fort, but honestly, if you now give that up, then that means your opponent walks away with Garden Terrors here. They're already stealing the camp. So the Siege Giant camp down here has already been stolen, so that's annoying as hell. But the blue team, they're gonna feel pretty good about this. They are not able to control that space as well as they want to, though. And Genji is now sitting in the middle, getting some extra XP for the team and trying to deal with the minion wave plus the mercenary camp. But, yeah, here comes the interrupt. Genji will soon start to move in for this as well. The problem is that Hanzo is pretty low. He's actually really low. Now, they can tap at the fountain mega easily. This is why they're having a huge advantage fighting in this position. There's the explosion. Garrosh is having none of it. Throws the explosion away. It's like, nope, not on my watch, baby. So D.Va with less value, but again, trying to make that move. Now in the meantime, still the seed up for grabs. Gul'dan is at 32 stacks now, and his baseline is using that opportunity here with the big 5 versus 5 battle to get a bit more. We have Siege Giants pushing the blue team in the middle of the map. That could give them value the longer this lasts here, and nobody is giving up the position. There's not going to be a talent advantage for this fight, no matter how long it drags out. I don't think that they can get an entire level. But the channels are happening. Shots are being fired from Chromie, Gul'dan, Moonfire. I mean, you name it. There's so many long-range interrupts that they can use. And eventually, it will likely come down to one of the teams losing a hero here. They're defending the bot lane now. The Shimada brothers are on it. Garrosh with a hit, and Malfurion gets interrupted, and here comes the bunny orb. The arrow, and it misses completely. A play that in the past worked extremely well for DDX is now missing. They don't get that combo. Rega is on the run. The rest of the team also starting to fall back here. But, oh, that hurt. They slowed them in the choke point perfectly, and then the arrow just does not connect with a single target. And there's another interrupt, but it seems like the blue team might actually get the Garden Terrors now. Balor with a channel. Garden Terrors for DDX. Maybe the red team gets level 16 talent so that their defense is made a bit easier. But that was nicely done by Rospedor. They saw that arrow coming from a mile away, dodged it perfectly. That was a dangerous situation for the blue team, but they played it out quite well and were able to survive here. So now forts are going to fall. The one at the top is going to be taken out by D.Va, so she's going to safeguard at least the top lane, unless the blue team rotates over after taking on the fort in the middle. Don't think they're going to get any keeps, but the forts will fall. And yes, they are moving to the top as already expected, trying to go for D.Va here, who just simply hops out, gets the unstoppable, and just shows Garrosh the middle finger. But yeah, topside fort is about to go down, so nice impact on the objective. They get 2 forts out of it. We have level 16 talents now on both sides, and Gul'dan is nearly done with his Echoed Corruption stack on level 1. He's missing 1 more, and then he gets the full-on synergy with level 16. So of course going to be perfect for him. 30 stacks now for Johanna on her Laws of Hope, which again means of course that she has now 35% of her max health that she can regenerate with this. So yeah, very, very good. And Shizakid, the survivability that he has here is huge. It's a very, very nice one that you can burn in a big fight, where you can make sure that Rega does not always have to heal you the entire time, doesn't have to waste his Ancestral on you immediately. So in a big team fight, that's a lot of survivability that they're going to get for that. Now, in the meantime, we have down at the bottom of the map, more camps claimed. Red team is obviously going to do the same thing. And another invade. They're stealing the camp again. That's not the second time in a row that they were able to steal the Siege Giants away from the opponent. Next seed up at the top. This could be Garden Terrors for DDX. Let's not forget about that. But they have to deal with that bot lane, because that's 2 camps that are pushing in. You have, first of all, the Bruiser camp here, but also then the Siege Giants that they're now taking out very quickly. If this is not taken care of, then the bot lane keep is under serious pressure. And even this is quite annoying. I mean, you have now final cut for Genji. Dignitas says hi. But yeah, Rega needs to help out, and they just decide that they don't have the time to rotate towards the top and deal with it. So they let the seed go. They're giving it up to Rospedor. They know that it's the first one for them after their first objective, so no real pressure to go for it immediately. They would have loved nothing more than to contest this, but in as is, it would have been too big of a risk for the bot lane. If you lose your keep there, it's just simply not worth it. Or take too much damage on it, even that. Still a leading experience for DDX, so they still have an advantage here. And once again, yeah, the attack over in the middle, a little bit of a poke going on as Jojo is moving in and looking for a target. Next seed is spawning in a pretty good position for the blue team. When you talk damage output, Hanzo with 34,000 top damage for the red team. Over on the side of Rospedor, we get 36,000 for Gul'dan. Promi, not too bad either. I mean, 31,000, not top damage or anything. She is a 3rd highest damage dealer in the game right now. But some really good kills from her, of course, too. And still the poke happening here as the red team is looking for angles, but they're not playing forwards. They're going to let that one go once again, simply because the position is not really great for them. Dead inside, trying to set up a bit of a trap, and I guess Virgil is the bait at the top. Or not. And where exactly is the blue team headed? Are they just going to try and attack the bot lane now? Top side, it's still a bait. They're going for the minion wave here, and we're going to see some hearths. Yep, they're hearthing back. They think that there's an attack for the keep coming, so they're actually starting to retreat. Cancel the hearth, and still setting up the trap. Nobody's falling for that anytime soon. They see the minion wave coming in, and now all of them retreated, but the blue team just steals the camps away. So the whole idea here was to bait with the camp and bait with the minion wave coming in. Not a bad thought, honestly. It's not a bad idea. You're waiting for level 20 anyways. If you can bait somebody in and they don't check the bush and die, fantastic. But as it stands, the blue team didn't fall for any of it and instead just walked through the map and took one mercenary camp after another. Now there's of course a small gap in which DDX has a level 20 advantage and they might be able to use that. But what are you going to do with it? Claiming the seed, maybe? But the timing does not really work out here. D.Va went into the stop and pop. So increased duration on the bunny hop. And we have more stuns. Bullseye, Radiating Faith now. Plus the Farseer's Blessing. They're already on the channel. Nisha gets slowed, stunned. And they still weren't able to stack this up. But now this is going to be Garden Terrors. Alright, so this is a bit of a moment of truth. The blue team did a lot of damage when they got their Garden Terrors. They took 2 of the forts out. Now we have a chance for DDX to at least repay them in kind and get 2 forts as well. How much damage can they do? Noteworthy also that Jojo has increased her stacks on level 1 by another 10. So she's now sitting on 40. Meaning that she has at this point 40 in total. Like 40% recovery of her max HP whenever she pops the active. So, it's a lot. I mean, again, it increases more and more here. And she might even reach 50 or 60 before the game finishes. But now we have the fort in the middle destroyed. They're rotating down to the bottom of the map. I mean, the goal obviously is to at least draw even in structures. A little bit surprised that the blue team is moving back down with everyone. The Garden Terror at the top is going to threaten the keep. So, you're not sending anyone topside. Okay, Rex on the way. I was about to say, that is a little bit of a risk. Because this is going to hurt. And yeah, they need to deal with it. And that's where Rexa comes into play. The rest of the team realizes that playing this 4 versus 5 for just a fort at the bot lane might be too big of a risk for too little reward. So they simply let the fort fall and are dealing now with the top lane. The wall partly destroyed, but everybody is playing a much slower game. And I honestly kind of like it. I mean, the way this is playing out is really showing that the teams have a lot of respect for each other. DDX is fully aware that the early game they had on the previous map on Dragonshire is not the norm when they're going up against a team as experienced as Khaldor. Things just didn't work out for the blue team in game number 1 whatsoever. And then in the late game, they really showed their potential. And now this just continues. So with this, we now have, by the way, nearly 50 stacks for Johanna. That last minute or 2 where they rotated from lane to lane and also took more and more mercenary camps really helped her. So now she is with this camp, gonna grab... Well, actually, she's like, I should stay here. Should definitely take that globe. That would be a bit of a loss if it doesn't take it, because it would be another 5% for his healing. Which would be pretty huge here. Doesn't grab it. Dude, you could have stayed in range. But yeah, they're fighting for this at the top. Genji is now jumping in. Rest of the team is coming in too. But they're losing the man. No, they're not. They're getting the heal. They're taking the camp. Jojo still needs one more stack. And this time it hits. But the Blessed Shield follow-up is not successful because Garrosh ruined the play. But what about Genji? He's dead. Dromi with the temporal loop. The Shimada brothers are both gone. Rospierdol with the quick double kill. And now they're going for the triple. And all of a sudden there is a huge chance for the blue team. A seed is on the map. They can get structural damage as well. That top fight did not look good at all for DDX. And this is exactly what the blue team needed to try and bring this all to a third map. This is a huge opportunity for the blue team. We are in the loser's bracket, as I'm not tired to point out. The only series after this is the loser bracket final, and then you're in the playoffs. So winning here and forcing game number 3 is what you need to do. And they're moving in for the core. There's only 2 defenders. Scratch that. It seems like there's going to be only 1. Jojo still survives. The heal that she gets from her level 1 or from her active is just crazy. Blessed Shield in. It doesn't matter. D.Va still dies. Jojo's trying to buy enough time, but she gets killed as well. And even with a few of the heroes coming back, there's no saving this anymore. We're going to game number 3 in this series. That's a given right now. 8 kills to 5. Rospierdol with some serious plays in the late game of game number 2 here on Garden of Terror. They're farming their kills once again, but this is game. This is a tight series, and we're heading to the final map between ROLLERCOASTER and DDX. GG. Game number 3. Tomb of the Spider Queen, everybody. So, yeah, the series is tight. 20 heroes have been played. Those 20 heroes can't be played again, so that's not going to be a thing anymore. Which makes for a more interesting draft, I guess, and maybe an opportunity to go for a bounty. Personally, not sure what we're going to get here, but given how the series has gone, I think unless one of the teams sees a huge opportunity to pull a bounty off, we're not going to get one. Shogal gets banned again. I understand why. It's not only about bounties here. A lot of the teams have actually, not a lot, some teams have completed a Shogal bounty, but nobody really wants to risk it because Shogal has actually proven to be pretty powerful. So Shogal gets banned here. This has been a bit of a pattern that on Tomb of the Spider Queen, Shogal gets banned. We've seen him played mostly, I want to say, on Tomb, and I believe it was Garden of Terror where we've seen him too. Medivh as a first pick right now, so just to contextualize this a little bit. Medivh has been banned a lot. I talked about him during the second draft where he was banned in the 3rd position, and now they even first pick him right away. Makotzel with Stitches and Dehaka just saying that Alexstrasza pick is still there. It's right there, and more supports are being banned and taken away, or not available because they've been played previously. Alexstrasza might be an option. If you go Stitches with his level 1 stack, you will get a lot of stacks anyways, because it's Tomb of the Spider Queen. If you get Alexstrasza and stack even further, Stitches could become that monster that they're gonna get here. So, Chen and Diablo on the other side. For everybody that gets already excited about a Chen Lily bounty, highly unlikely. Virgil has been playing Chen a lot. At no point were they really tempted to go into Lily in addition to that. So, yeah. But I want to see if they go... Oh god, Alexstrasza as a bounty would be amazing here. Just, if they come in and just stack him into oblivion, this would be so cool. Not sure though. Hammer gets banned, and they banned out Greymane, who is great against structures, can also absolutely chunk Stitches down, and on top of that you have the support from Medivh, for example. By the way, Medivh Diablo, technically they could go into Leyline, into Apocalypse. Seen a lot of Lightning Fury even with Medivh, but just saying there is a wombo available for them. So it Deckard Cain instead of Alexstrasza. I'm not even angry, I'm just disappointed. I'm sad. There was an opportunity here. 100 globes on his level 1 stack, easy! And they were just like, no, not happening. Instead we get Nazeebo. So, Nazeebo makes me at least happy. Nazeebo is a nice pick here. So, this is going to be a late game attempt by them. Oh, I was wrong! Lily! And Suljin! Bounty attempt from DDX. They go full on Panda. And yep, not shabby. So all of a sudden we go full CCP. It's Panda time. Lots of pandas. Winnie the Pooh would be proud. And that leaves us with the final pick. Sesabos for a ROLLERCOASTER. And they go Thralls. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 3, the final map in the series between ROLLERCOASTER and DDX. ROLLERCOASTER against DDX, game number 3. Makotzel on Stitches. On the left, we got Barlow on Deckard Cain. Bryak on Zebra. Ether playing Dehaka, and Sesabos on Thrall. On the right side of the map, that's where things are getting a little bit funky. First of all, we got Shizakit on Diablo. Dead Inside on Medivh. We got Danazovsky on Lily with a Serpent Sidekick on level 1. And Yoshiro with Suljin going for the Recklessness on level 1 here with Virgil on Chen. Guys, again, if you like the shows, if you like the tournament that we're organizing here and the games that you get, if you like the commentary and you're watching this on YouTube, make sure that you hit the like button on the video. Give that thing a thumbs up. make sure that the algorithm spreads it to more viewers and suggests it to more people. So get your ass off the couch for a second and hit that button hard. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel yet, you should definitely do that too. Or Stitches is gonna hook you like it just did there, and then you're gonna get killed like Diablo. It's not gonna be that severe, but it would still be nice if you hit the button. Just saying. I like what we're getting from Thrall, by the way. Thrall with Crash Lightning, so we're crashing out a little bit in the game. And that is going to be a lot. I mean, honestly, this is kind of fun. We have if you think about it, we have two of the best ARAM heroes going up against each other right now. We're talking about brawls. Suljin and Thrall reign supreme there. And now we have the two of them going up against each other in a more normal game. Massive portal rotations already happening here. And Suljin is just stacking his baseline quickly. I mean, damn, he's at 12 stacks already. That is very, very early in the game. Even with all the choices that they made so far. He's at 15. He dies, I don't even care. They trade Dehaka for Suljin, and I'm totally fine with it because he is already done with his range increase. Which is a bit bananas here. So, yeah, not too bad. So, let's see what else they're gonna get. Ah, well, actually, he needs a little more, my bad. Medivh. Kind of forgetting some changes and stuff. So, yeah. Still, rocking this one pretty hard. So, we're gonna see how much he's going to get with this. But, yeah. Good old times where he stacked this into Oblivion, kind of gone, but still. Right now we have 3 kills to 1, so Rospedol, at least on the kill count, is doing a little bit better here. But we'll see how much Suljin can do. And he is hitting this one, as I already said, pretty hard. I mean, the damage output already kind of reflects it. Again, mega early, we're 2 minutes into the game, but if you're looking at his damage, he's sitting at 8,000 already. That's doubling anyone else that they have on the team. Thrall, of course, with nice hits also on his Crash Lightning, is not looking too horrible either. Is at this point, when you're taking a look, sitting at 6 stacks, 2 minutes in, that's pretty okay. If you can complete that quest, it's always amazing the amount of poke that you can get with it. And keep in mind that we're talking about a composition that is very heavily leaning towards the late game. You got, first and foremost, Nazebo, that's going to be big. And then on top of that, you have Thrall that could, in the late game scenario, also complete his level 1 and then have even more of an impact on all of this. So right now, we're still going to keep a bit of an eye on how Suljin is going to do here. For now, he is definitely doing pretty okay as he weaves those auto attacks in. And Yoshiro is forcing the back. Those melees are not having a lot of fun with this. Zombie War are kind of nice. Suljin still getting one attack after another. And he's hitting this hard. Yeah, 20 stacks for him. Level, oh, Stitches! Yeah, he's still fine. But the protection that we're getting from Medivh for everyone is pretty important. And they're just portaling in, out the entire time. Yoshiro is a little bit aggressive with Suljin, I gotta say. That portal was about to disappear. Basically disappeared already. And he's just like, yeah, I'm out of here. He gets a kill together with Lily, but then he dies a moment later too. So they're starting to trade a couple of kills on this one. But it's amusing. The rotation towards the top immediately leads to a follow-up kill for DDX, and now it's 4 to 3 kills, as the teams are all fighting for not only gems, but also for kills and elite experience. But it's kind of fun how ham Suljin goes currently, because he always says like, Medivh is behind me, he's got my back. That's 22 gems lost, by the way, because the Haga just got murdered. 22 gems that he lost with this. More stacks now coming, as they're going into the Arcanite axis. So, yep, that's going to be even more damage that we're going to get. And, well, if he gets his full synergy, he's going to get a lot on this one. So if he gets a double cleave, that's going to be fantastic. Thrall dies, and Yoshiro is now at the 30 stacks. 4 minutes and 38, he is sitting at 30 stacks. And it is a party time for them. So, let's have a bit of a look on how much they're going to get with him. But yeah, he is just working that one. I mean, damn. So, right now, 4 stacks on level 4. We're going to see how much further he can stack this. But the damage output is already there. And he's now done with the swings. He has the range increase. So, all of the rewards are already locked in. But obviously still working to maximize the damage. And with the Web Weavers now also pushing out, they're gonna get a lot here. Medivh is stacking, of course, his baseline. We have now more and more auto attacks coming from Suljin, who gets the protection time and time again from Medivh, who empowers pretty much everything that the auto attacker is doing. But the double pandas are also running the show here with the Arcanite axes slowly picking up some momentum. You can get a huge amount of damage out from them too. Thrall is experiencing this firsthand, so is Stitches, who is also in trouble again and might actually die here as Diablo makes the move, puts them into the range of Suljin, and that's another kill. Suljin is absolutely crushing this right now with 26,000 damage to his name already. The Web Weavers have mostly been defeated, but they're still pushing for the fort in the middle. And even if they can't take it out, this thing is massively low. Level 10 is also close. I mean, they're gonna get to heroic abilities in just a few seconds. 19,000 damage put Thrall into the top damage position for the blue team. He's currently at 13 stacks and has actually adjusted his level 7 talent. So he went into the Maelstrom weapon here. We have him with the completed level 4 quest 2. As Nazeebo, we have kind of neglected him a little bit, but Nazeebo is currently at 90 stacks on his baseline, so it's not too bad. It's pretty decent. Leyline and Apocalypse, both chosen. They try to go for the Apoc here. And once again, everybody clusters up. Massive hits from Arcanite axes. 30 stacks on that already. And Shizakid pushes in deep and gets murdered. Yeah, bit too aggressive here. Beautiful Sundering. Beautiful move, and well, that's gonna be a kill. Lili is dead, but Suljin at least makes it. Oh, nope, he doesn't. I have honestly no idea why he just didn't run. If you just run, you're fine. He thought that he would be able to save the day here, but not so much. So if you run away, you're absolutely golden. He's at 43 stacks now on level 1. But 23 stacks for Medivh show clearly that Medivh is a little bit slow on the stacking progress. Which is, I mean, again, now that level 10 is already passed, a bit annoying for him. Just imagine a good Sundering, or maybe a Hook and a Gorge, and he's going to be toast. That inside is sitting at 23, which isn't really all that crazy. So there's still lots of time for Rospedol to get a kill against Medivh and reset him back to 0. Blue team with Web Weavers, so they can use that now as a tool. On top of that, we have also, again, Suljin still stacking his level 7. That's going to be the more important one, I suppose. And, yeah, Thrall is at 16 stacks now. Nazeebo is stacking quickly. Thrall is not looking too bad. Maelstrom weapon on level 7 is also being increased here time and time again. So, yeah, movement speed increase for him later on would, of course, be pretty nice too. And could turn him into an absolutely rampaging lunatic. But the fort at the top gets destroyed. So, sorry, at the bottom gets destroyed. So that's a very, very good first objective for Rospedol. The blue team doing pretty okay here. Now they go through the portal again, and they get Thrall. Even with the Sundering, they won't be able to save him. Ult from Deckard Cain, trying to prevent the worst from happening. That's not the case. They're gonna get Deckard Cain. They should. Portal is there, and then Stitches with a helping hand. Nice! What a save from Stitches. That was a huge one. Deckard Cain was basically, I mean, it was Schrödinger's healer. You can think about him as dead or alive at the same time. Depends on what happens first. He was full on in stasis with a ley line on 10 hit points or something. And then the ley line stopped, and all of a sudden there's a helping hand from Stitches that saves the day for the old geezer. Nice stacks for Nazeebo. Suljin getting a little bit closer to the 50 on the baseline. And we have 41 stacks for his level 7 now. So, 13 versus 13. Again, this is everything that we wanted. The entire series was super close, and now it just continues. Balor, no, they want Deckard Cain. They couldn't get him earlier. Now they're trying again. Already we got the Water Dragon from Lili, but talking about Dragon, Dehaka dragging Lili around, and then the hook hits. There's the portal. Nope, no portal, only a shield, and Danazovsky goes down. Lili is destroyed, and the red team is on the run. Quest is completed for Suljin. You want axe, and you get axe. I'm actually a little bit salty, by the way, that you can't fully stack this anymore. We need the full-on stack damage into Oblivion, but he still has his level 7, of course. So just looking at the damage output for him, he's at 46,000, still top damage in the game. So Suljin is going to be completely fine here. But they also have to dodge out on some of those twin blade spins that we're getting the entire time, with the camp now still remaining in the middle to threaten the fort. Turn-ins possible for both of the teams. So they're both working now on a potential second Webby wave. Their hooks are hitting. Virgil has 33 gems, so this is someone that cannot die if you want to get your turn in. They go through the portal again to try and make the play here. And yeah, a little bit of nice damage that we're getting from Suljin, but they have to back off, and even the Panda have to go for the keg. And more stacks for Suljin. These 5 versus 5 fights are fantastic for him. They're dodging a lot of those twin blades, as you can see, whenever he gets the spin going, but a lot of them also connect, and this just adds and ramps up the damage. Turn-in is happening. Apocalypse is getting used as they're making a move, and they take down Thrall. Lily is also dead. They are still going for that bounty, but Lily has now died for the second time. And Suljin is gobbled up, and even with the ult, he is gonna fall. Used it earlier, didn't have the cooldown ready. So Suljin is gone, and that is a 2-for-1 trade in favor of Rospedol, who should now be able to get Webweaver Wave number 2. Medivh at 36 stacks. He is getting... I don't even know what they're doing here. Diablo, okay, they're gonna get out, I suppose. I guess they were attempting to also delay them slightly. But just before this happened, what I really wanted to talk about was actually that Medivh is nearly done with this baseline quest. 36 stacks. This push is gonna hurt on the other hand. There's a big gap between the two teams right now. We have 10 kills against 8, and so if you look at the kill count, it doesn't seem like that big of a difference. But if you are taking a closer look at what we're getting with the rest of the stats, then it's a different story. Lily is getting attacked again. Panda power! Nice! Winnie the Pooh would approve. Chen moves in to save Lily, and she gets away from the spiders and the hook. But the problem that I still wanted to highlight is that we have now not only forts destroyed, but also a talent advantage for the blue team that they're exploiting as they're pushing with the web weavers now. So yeah, not bad. 37 stacks still for Medivh. Connects the ley line with 2. Apoc! And they go for Thrall again, who pops the Sundering. Gets instantly locked into a corner. Completes his quest, but will still die. Sesabos goes down, but so does Suljin. These hooks that we're getting from Stitches are hurting more and more, and they're wreaking havoc. And then you look over to Nazeebo, and he's at 200 stacks on his baseline, so they're easily going to be able to go for Vile Infection on level 20. The combo also for Thrall with Thunderstorm, he's going to get a lot of damage out. I mean, look at the output now. He's already top damage on his team with the 49,000. Bronek gets actually put right underneath the keep in his own zombie wall, and he is fully isolated from the rest of the team, so he's definitely going to die. He can ice block this all day long. It doesn't really matter anymore. He will fall, but again, looking great on the baseline stack, so he's not going to have a problem there. They got damage in on the keep too. Red team desperately needs to catch up here. They still hold 69 gems and will need to turn a few in to gain a bit of momentum. They haven't taken a single fort out, and they definitely need to change that. And what better time than the moment when the opponent is down to four heroes on the map. 1 stack missing for Medivh. 1 single hit. Red team gets their web weavers now. We also have wrong place, wrong time. Suljin needs to pop off a little bit on this one. Quest needs to be completed for Medivh. Suljin needs to start to pop off a little bit. But the late game is going to be tricky, because now Thrall is fully stacked, and as we already talked about, once that you complete Crash Lightning, it is pretty awesome. The poke that you get from that quest is epic. The Haka trying to go down to the bot lane, so they want that keep, and they're likely going to be able to get it. The Haka, if he stays long enough, will make it so that the bot lane keep is going to suffer because of the catapult that's down here. Unless somebody moves back, and they need to get damage done. Top lane, I suppose the fort at the top is going to fall, but they want more. They want the keep, they want something here, and they're pushing everything against that wall and trying to go for the keep damage. But the Haka at the bottom of the map is escorting this out, is now tunneling in to help the team out to defend. They obviously don't just want to trade keeps, but the Haka is at the top lane defending the fort. And that is actually going to save it. But what's happening in the middle? That's a bigger question. The Haka is now starting to move in. Oh, the tactical pause. 3-2-3 moment from Danazovsky here. All right, a little bit of a cheeky one. In the middle of the team fight, all of the ults are still available, and then they're pausing the game here. Don't know if it's just a couple of lags or other connections problems that they have now, but this is still something. Just to recap that situation real quickly, Suljin has now 79 stacks on his level 7, so he's getting big damage out. We're at 39 stacks still on Medivh, hasn't been able to connect that last hit. Thrall is stacked nicely, completed the level 1, 12 stacks on level 7, and 4 stacks currently on Thunderstorm. So you can get big damage out on this, and you can see it in the numbers. 65,000 damage now for Suljin, and 54,000 for Thrall. This is one of the do-or-die moments, at least potentially. And while this plays out, that topside fort, probably even with the initial interaction through Dehaka, still gonna fall. And if you look at experience right now, we have 18 versus 17. So there's a 1 level gap, and soon Rospedol is going to hit level 20. So if the red team does not push here, when are they gonna do it? Dehaka, he's coming in, helping them out. There's the play for Thrall. They try to go for Suljin here. A bit of damage is getting out. The hook misses, and the red team is slowly falling back. They got 2 forts and a bit of damage on the key. I'm not really sure if that was really worth it for them. They still have 50 gems though, so they're getting close to another turn-in. They have the chance of another turn-in, maybe. But I was really thinking they would push more for the middle keep and not just simply retreat here. Nazeebo, 240 stacks. Nazeebo has a lot of stack power here. Now, Suljin is still stacking his damage on with his level 7 talent time and time again. Just, by the way, getting anxiety over the stacks on Medivh. Can you please finally complete your quest? That would be nice. This is a cool little move. So they're going for the boss. That's a nice one. Yes. Taking that boss out right now is helping them a ton. And it's not being interrupted. I guess the blue team is going to get turn-in. And then it's going to be a trade. But this is 16 minutes in, so this is at least going to hurt a little bit. Team is about to turn in here. Yeah, Medivh just flying around. So it's a Web Weaver wave. And we'll see if they push maybe for the bot lane. But now Vile Infection is ready. And that's the big one. So we've been talking a lot about Thrall here, and is at 62,000 damage. But from here on out, also monitor the damage output from Nazeebo a little bit. As he completes his quest, he's at 47,000. 47,000, so he is 15,000 behind Thrall. Just as a little bit of a side note. So monitor the damage output of the two heroes, just so that you see how much Nazeebo is going to be able to do from here on out. 5 deaths on Suljin, by the way. Oh, they're trying to get a Gorge. Alright, if that is not backfiring into the blue team, then I don't know what will. Quest is finally completed, and they weren't able to isolate them enough. Oh, the Sundering not hitting anything here. They're closing in on level 20. There's another hit for Suljin, and he pops his ult. The ley line! The ley line saving Dehaka. I think he might have fallen here, but now Suljin is dead, and boy, they might fall apart here. DDX won the first game easily, and now they're losing Lily as well. Is Rospedol turning the entire series on its head? Is that what we're seeing here? It certainly looks like it. The keep in the middle is getting attacked. Only 3 defenders at this point in time. Another one maybe falling. They're trying for Diablo. He's able to survive a bit longer, but time is ticking, and it's another 30 seconds until Suljin is back. A bit of space and time created by Chen as he's popping them away. They're trying to get a kill here, but Nazeebo is still kicking. He's totally fine. Shizakid with 30 stacks about to go down, and that is 32 gems lost. Dead inside, retreats. They will have Suljin back in another few seconds, so maybe they can still defend here. But it's an absolute disaster for DDX. They lost 2 of their keeps, and the third one will fall for sure. The question is, can they save the core? And it does not look like it. Big damage coming in, specifically, of course, from Nazeebo. The big feast as Stitch just gobbles everything up in his path. 16 kills to 11. It's game. The comeback in the series from Rospedol as they move on to the losers bracket final. GG.